Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Verbal Tap. I am one of your co-hosts, Rafa Sparza, talking about some great things, mostly MMA, maybe a little bit about my new puppy. But you know what? That's not what we're here for. I want you guys to get excited about this mere fact. Why am I taking the lead reins on introducing the show? Normally, that's the job that my co-host Kevin Phillips does. Kevin, why are we doing it like this right now?
I thought we were here to talk about the puppy, so I'm just trying to get over that.
I told you, Kevin, that we are saving the puppy talk for the shout outs portion because technically I would be shouting out my puppy. So if you guys want to go ahead and listen to it, wait all the way to the end of the show or just fast forward there. Don't really care. You already downloaded it, so it doesn't matter to me.
Fine. Because we're combining. Right, we're mixing it. You brought another person for me to just beat the hell out of.
I would tell you this right now: be very careful how you address this person.
Don't like your tone. Got it. Okay.
I want you to know
Okay.
that they are savage level jiu-jitsu first and foremost. They are an EBI vet. They are a combat jiu-jitsu vet. So there's that. We're gonna start there, and we're gonna work our way elsewhere.
Gross.
So I want to go ahead and tell you this right now, which is, yes, we are bringing on somebody who's going to be competing at the next EBI. That would be EBI 17. It's at the buck 45 weight. But I want you guys to understand that we brought him because he's savage level jiu-jitsu, amazingly nice, friend of the podcast, and he happened to be at UFC's STL yesterday in the St. Lou, is what I am told the kids say. So we decided to mix over under Kevin and a little bit of review of yesterday's UFC event. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, our good friend, Mr. Jason Hayden. Jason, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent. How are you, Raph?
You know, I'm phenomenal. I'm just so happy you're back on the show. We love you here. Every time we talk with you and your brother, it's like family on this show. So I want to make sure that we say the nice things about you before Kevin says the really mean things about you.
Yeah, that's great. Please say all the nice things because, man, I'm about to beat Kevin up big time.
I believe that. And Kevin's never rolled with you, so he has no idea what he's in for on that respect either.
God, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's coming. It's coming.
I just see him. I can hear my knee surgeon just buying a new set of golf clubs as I roll with
Kev, have you
Mini
ever
Hayden,
seen,
as we refer to him here at the podcast?
Kev, have you ever seen in the Looney Tunes when the Tasmanian devil would go in like a circle? Just imagine that happening to your leg.
I swear I've thought about this because I've watched a fair number of your fights, which go to hell, Raph, for bringing someone on that I have to be like a little extra careful about how deeply I burn. There was a few shots I took at Gary Tonin that I was like, might not have been a great idea. You will routinely Imanari roll to start, but you're not like satisfied. You like to Imanari roll to shoot Imanari roll. It's like watching a soccer ball bounce with a razor blade sticking out of it. Looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll keep going, man. I'll keep going until I get it.
I've noticed.
I love it.
I would run out of energy halfway through the first turn. Be like, cool, that didn't work.
I'll tell you this much right now, Kev. I did when I rolled with him, so it was no fun from there. But the reason why I say the Tasmanian devil is, he has like very distinct, like kind of revved up thing. Like that's what you hear when you are rolling with Jason Hayden. But enough about the compliments for now. Let's get straight to business because you were there yesterday in St. Louis. Jason, tell me this much: how did you end up going to this event?
Well, I'm really good friends with one of the fighters. Her name's Danielle Taylor. I was just there in support, to support her and watch her fight and just kind of, enjoy the show, mainly for the support, She's awesome, and it was great to get to see her fight live.
What was that experience like? Because, I know you're used to seeing people grapple and your brother, you guys are, as much as I want to say it's amazing to watch how much you guys have your back, it's also terrifying because I've seen your brother almost stare a hole through people who are competing with you, and it's like, man, you guys are some of the best people in the world, just in terms of like how we get along. But like, I don't see Josh ever get mad at anything except for like, you fuck with my brother, I'll kill you. So it's a real big difference to see, especially someone as, I mean, everybody loves Josh Hayden. So is it different to have somebody like Danielle when she is in there? Is it more emotional investment? Like, what is that for you, man?
Yeah, I'd definitely say it is. I was really nervous. I stopped biting my fingernails like for the first time in like my whole life. Not too long ago, actually, like 2 months ago. But for this fight, I was biting my fingernails. I get really super nervous. Same thing watching my brother compete. I'm way more nervous than them. I'm sure. So. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a lot of emotions and a lot of nervousness.
A lot of nervousness. And coolest thing about being to have a friend fighting in the UFC? What's the coolest part while you're there?
I got to be around a lot of the fighters. A lot of the people, especially Jeremy Stevens. I've been watching him before I even started. I was a big fan, and getting to walk past him like two or three times and being with him in the elevator, I'm like super fanboying out, but I'm trying to keep my cool at the same time because I could fight him in the future, so I don't want to be too much of a fanboy.
There's a lost take of the intro of this podcast where Josh confesses.
Yeah, nobody knew that. Like 0 people knew that until you broke kayfabe and you told
and I'm
them.
Sorry, I already hit my wrong Hayden. Where Jason confesses he's nervous that Stevens is getting a little close to his weight class, which cracks Raph and I up because we can see. I imagine it's both Haydens have like their weights circled. It's like who's getting close.
Here real quick, a perfect question that was going to duck over the exact same conversation we had when the alleged previous take that people will never hear took place, and no one would have known the difference. But I just want to say, I'll say my question now, as if we're hearing it for the first time, which we are. Jason. This question I'm now asking you for the first time and you're answering, as if you've never heard this question before, is, are you sizing up Stevens when you're in the elevator with him? Like, are you looking at him up and being like, I don't know, man, his right shoulder he's favoring right now. Good to know.
Definitely. Sizing up everybody. Every time I walk in a room, I size up every person. I'm walking down the sidewalk, someone's walking past me. You size them up because you never know. They might try to attack you. They might try to steal your lunch money. You never know, man. You got to size up everyone.
This explains a lot.
Lunch money still. Like,
Raph, I just learned a lot about why he got so much better than I did so much faster. It's like I've been looking at people the wrong way.
Yeah. I
have not been doing this, and I think, can I suggest taking it a step further? You should just, start Imanari rolling more people in the elevator. Like, see if Stevens, let's see how his takedown defense is.
He don't want it. I'll Imanari him all day.
I have to say, on the scale of trash talk, I'm going to Imanari you all day.
It's good.
I don't know where it falls, if I'm being really honest. I can't tell if it's at the top or the bottom. But I want to ask some specific fight questions here because yesterday there was a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, the big attraction, even though she was only the co-main event, but ratings-wise, Paige Van Zandt went through fighting with a broken arm. Could you tell that her arm was broken when you were watching her fight?
Definitely. I knew something was up after, I believe it was in the first round. I saw her spinning back fist, the girl, and I knew something was up at the beginning of the second and even the third. She was way more timid. She wasn't throwing with that arm as much. But, yeah, I definitely knew something was up once she broke her arm.
And Kev, didn't it look like a lot of those angles were really bad for her? Because I thought she was going to tap at any given point on a number of the triangles. If not the triangles, I was like, oh, maybe the triangle armbar is going to happen here.
Well, sadly, this is one of the 2 fights I didn't see. But apparently I need to watch Paige Van Zandt breaking her arm in the first and still dancing her way through 3. I mean, it goes to a decision, right? I think that's
I mean, yeah, it does. She made it all the way through to decision miraculously, and at the very end,
it's tough.
She toughed it all the way through. Looks over, shakes her opponent's hand, and then in the most Jim Carrey-esque way, lets out a "oh God!" And it's the way that we all hope
tucks
that
it into
we
her
would
shirt. Does that whole ow?
It's the way that we all hope and think that we would respond in that whole situation where you beast out 3 rounds even though you broke your arm. But that takes a certain caliber of fighter to actually make their way through. So she earned a lot of my respect yesterday.
Definitely.
And I was like, man, that really sucks to fight that way and not see her at her fullest potential. And who knows? It could have gone exactly the same way. But kudos to her for making it through that. I have another question right here. What was the crowd like when Jeremy Stevens knocked the living life out of Do-Ho Choi?
The crowd was hyped. The crowd was awesome. I mean, I wanted Choi to win because I'm Filipino and he's Korean and
of course,
I guess you know what I'm saying.
Asian. Everybody plays that game.
Exactly. So I'm like, man, I really want Do-Ho Choi to win, but I knew Stevens hit like a freaking Mack truck. So, but yeah, the crowd was hype. He came out to Nelly, so they really liked Stevens, whether they knew him or not. They really liked him.
How is Nelly not there? Nelly's not singing the national anthem. He's not hosting. He's not doing commentary. He's not sitting next to Data. Oh man, this is rough for me. I expected to see an awesome Nelly just hitting us with like a bump, 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 oh say, and then just rap you just splicing it with country grammar. It's just heartbeat. It's got a lot of potential.
Had recorded this conversation before, I would have possibly had made the joke that Nelly did try to make country grammar an official national anthem, which is a true fact.
It was that summer. For a summer, that was the national anthem.
Oh, yeah. There was not a single person between that and, like, I realized this grown man who refers to himself as Nelly was making millions off of nursery rhymes. By the time this motherfucker got to saying, uh-oh, and I realized he's making so much money, I said, good to know. Thank you very much, Nelly. Let's talk about this, though. I want to ask the question about, I think it's important for us to know how much effort we put into things. I want to ask this. Kevin, right now, how much effort are you putting into this podcast?
I'm sorry, Raf. I'm sending a text. What was the effort?
I just always, how much effort are you putting in
always
this
usually
podcast?
About 1.5 star, which I've equated. I don't go above 20 usually to keep to keep expectations low.
That's good. Okay, now Jason, what percentage are you at right now?
Probably about 1.7.
100. He's a giver. He's a giver. I've heard that about him in lovemaking. I've heard that about him with sponsors. Ooh. I've seen it somewhat in jiu-jitsu. That's just what I've heard. Giver.
You need to roll with them before you can give any value. But I'll say this. There's nothing quite like that you barely win by decision. And by, I mean barely, I mean excitingly, because he was very dominant. But nobody there was really excited about that fight. And then get on the microphone and say, that was only me at 30%. Are you telling me that you had 70% giving us a finish, motherfucker? Now we're just sitting here watching you talk about the fact that you're bragging. You could have done more, but I'm only giving 30%. When I heard him say that, Kevin, all I could think of was, I only podcast at 30%. So take that, dude.
But is that the implication that he's saying I only gave 30%? Is that how you hear it live, Jason? You're hearing him be like, I was only fighting a little bit.
Yeah, I was a little confused, man. I really want to see him go 100%. You know, I come to a fight. I come to a fight. You know what I'm saying? And I want to see. You know, I don't really get to go to UFC as much, but come to a fight, I want to see some people throw hands. And if he's going only 30%, I'm a little disappointed. But that guy's a beast. That guy's a beast.
Big dude.
I really do appreciate the fact that Jason's taking the perspective of, I don't get out to use much.
I don't.
But
He's
simple, man. I really wish that some guy would do more than 30%, maybe 33 if it could inconvenience him just a little bit.
Yeah, that would have been nice. 33 would have been dope. It would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect.
Bump it up to a Jesus level of motivation, Usman. That feels fair. Verbal Tap fans, great time to stop and talk to you about North, South, Jiu-Jitsu, underwear. Even the words sound good. What is under your gi? That's the question you need to be asking yourself. Head on over to northsouthjujitsu.com. Get the underwear that's going to keep you secure, ready to train, ready to go another round. northsouthjujitsuunderwear.com. Elkins, I have one problem with how they declare this. They called it, first of all, I like that it was a performance of the night. I see that here on the highlight sheet. But Darren Elkins wins more by spine crank on Michael Johnson than maybe rear naked choke, but pretty cool to see a finish of that. I always, whenever there's a submission, I feel like you might have willed that one to happen, Jason. Otherwise, we don't really get one.
Yeah, I really enjoy seeing finishes happen. I didn't think, it really didn't look like Elkins was going to win because Johnson was getting a better of him on the feet.
Peppering him.
And, yeah, exactly. I was just like, man, Elkins is going to go down at any time. But, gosh, he's freaking tough. Like,
what do you think he was giving it percent-wise? I'm willing to guess 68.
Elkins?
Yeah.
He was probably giving it 68.1%.
Raph, what do you think? Elkins on the spine lock, north or south of 80%? Do we have
140%?
140%, just to really put his pelvis into it. I don't know. I don't know. I get to call this next one. Hometown man James Krause wins barely. Did you think he was going to get knocked out in the third round? Did you see this? Do you know exactly what moment I'm talking about, Mr. Hayden?
Yeah, he was getting rocked pretty good. He came out really strong, like he was a striker, but then he was getting rocked. But Elkins had really nice hair, so I knew that. I knew he was going to. Wait, no, Cross. I'm sorry.
Cross always has nice hair. He's always Pantene Pro V shimmy.
I heard somebody in the crowd say CM Punk. So, so I knew Cross was going to win after that. And on top of having really nice hair, being really well groomed, guaranteed win for me.
All right.
I have to say, though, with him saying very nice hair, that bodes well for over-under Kevin.
Yes. I really wish I had the chance to have voted on him. He won via control, basically, but he did almost get knocked out. I was impressed. I liked his jiu-jitsu game, though, because even when Alex tried at the end, it's like, Alex needs to spend some more time with the Hayden brothers.
Definitely.
There's a nice quick plug for their old
I'll do a seminar for them, for him if he wants.
That would honestly be super helpful, I think, for them.
Speaking of that, I noticed, we'll come back to this in a second, but I noticed that you're going to be out in LA because you're going to be competing at EBI 17, and you put up a post. And do you have your Instagram near you, Jay?
I do, actually. I have it right next to me.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to need an honest set of answers here. Okay?
Okay.
So Jason put up a post that says 14th to 28th. Would anyone be interested in seminars or privates? And he made a poll. What are the results of those poll numbers so far, sir?
I have 79% yes and 21% no.
Name names. Who are the 21%?
21% are my buddy Brandon Sims, who is in the Army, who's not going to be in LA. He's one of the no's. I have Dylan Smith, who's right behind me, who's a jackass. He's like, no. So, and the other person, let's see who the other no is. His nickname is War Panda. His last name's Gableman. He trains out of Georgia. He's a firefighter. He said no, but I don't think he's going to be in LA either, so he was just being a jerk too.
This kind of says something about the caliber of awesomeness of your friends. First of all, that Raph was able to detectively suss out that people were voting against this within seconds, and I like how many of them. This is good.
Yeah. So all the people that said no are just jerks. They're jerks. They're jerks.
You're welcome.
Because my immediate thought, and I want you to look on there, is there a yes from somebody on this?
There's a yes from this really handsome guy that I've had a crush on for a while, but it says verbal tap cast. That's the person that said yes.
Unfortunately, that means it's from both of us. So
not on this one.
I can't take all the credit. Not on this.
We're about to be enemies here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, I do want to bring this up because it is important to note. Dana White was really, really pissed yesterday, and there was a specific reason for it, Kev.
I'm sure it had nothing to do with anyone fighting.
I mean, he definitely wasn't pleased with us, man, saying he fought at 30%. So,
sure.
Oops. But he was a little pissed because you guys know this now. Vitor Belfort lost his opponent in Uriah Hall due to a really bad weight cut. And when that happened, he happened to be talking with Karen Bryan on the post show, who was right next to Michael Bisping, his rumored opponent for this rematch. But then all of a sudden, Dana White offered a kind of mea culpa and said to Karen in response to a question about will Vitor be facing this, Dana White said, I mean, that's a good question, but here's the thing. I just fucking got back from being on vacation, okay? And then this happened. So that was begging for us to give him some understanding that he was on vacation and a bad weight cut happened. And it's not his problem, Kevin. So get off his back.
He's right, by the way. He didn't force Uriah Faber to have a shitty weight cut and go to the hospital.
Uriah Hall.
Sorry, Uriah Faber. Sorry, the California kid.
For the record, he also did not force Uriah Faber to have a bad weight cut as well. Being honest.
I can't confirm or deny. I heard Uriah Faber did not make weight for UFC Fight Night on Sunday. I'll check if my sources are correct on that. But Uriah Hall goes to the hospital. Not his fault. I do enjoy that he has no plan, and instead of being like, I forgot what they told me, he just I have been on vacation. Chill. It's such a good, that's what I expect someone at Wendy's to yell at me. That's what I expect. Maybe not Dana, but
I mean, Kevin can't really show up to work after, a weekend and go, excuse me.
Hey. Well, you should try that, Jason, next time you have a big fight after a vacation. If it doesn't go well, just be like, I've been on vacation, so I don't think this one should count. Let's just do one more.
Yeah, that's actually what happened with the combat jiu-jitsu. I was just, I didn't. I was at the beach a long time the day before, so that's why I lost to Wagner.
Absolutely. In my post interview with Wagner, he was definitely like, I sensed a lot of beach in Mini Hayden. And
he complimented your tan. He was like, he had this glow.
Yeah, actually, all the times that he slapped me in the face, he was actually putting tanning oil on me, and it's just making me more tan.
Just a little aloe.
I thank Wagner for that, actually.
So, can I ask this because I think it's an important question to ask? When you do combat jiu-jitsu, you have to be a certain kind of person. Having been the recipient of a bunch of slaps to the face from Wagner Rocha, still interested?
Definitely. I mean, I come from an MMA background. It's weird. I enjoy getting hit. I like getting punched. I like getting slammed because it gives me, it lets me know where the bar's at. If you slam me or hit me or punch me, it lets me know I can break your shit off. So it lets me know where we're at and what I can do. So I enjoy getting slapped. I enjoy getting hit, slammed. It's all good with me. I'm down to do it again.
Okay. Masochist, Jason. I just want to make sure. Just really,
Yeah.
we're creating. We're creating. Don't say yeah. It makes it weirder. All right.
50 Shades of Hayden. That's what we're naming
50
this one.
Shades of Hayden is the name of this show.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do this. Gents, ladies, I think it's time to transition to the game of Over Under Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys are here for a great segment on our show. Maybe our premier signature segment called Over Under Kevin. It's basically a game show format where each participant gets 15 seconds to say who they think is going to win on this week's upcoming UFC 220 pay-per-view. Now, we always bring a guest on to take on Kevin's pay-per-view picks. Whoever gets the most correct wins. And we have a number of fights. We go out of order on the card. Each participant gets 15 seconds, folks. So we need to make it count. And more than anything, we value trash talk than any form of accurate picks. Do you both understand the rules, gentlemen? Jason, do you understand the rules?
Yes.
Kevin, do you understand the rules?
I am to metaphorically give him the Wagner Rocha treatment.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'll be there.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. Kev, that was a dangerous card to play before we were even in regulation.
I was trying to Imanari roll him with the insults.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to do that. Sun
It's a
Tzu.
bold move, Kev.
Thank you.
Bold move. I don't know how it's going to play out for you, Cotton. Let me ask this, though. Jason, what do you have to say to Kevin? Because I have to give you time to respond. What do you have to say to Kevin before we even get started?
R.I.P.
Ooh, oh, my God. That was violent and vicious. I didn't expect any of that.
We in the corporate world call that resting in professionalism. So thank you. Will do.
For the corporate world. Like Kev's really become corporate ministry
I
over
took
here.
an HR seminar. R.I.P. to you.
We'll see.
I mean, I really hope that he meant it in rest in power whenever somebody who dies, like in hair metal.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start with our first match. It's a flyweight bout between Dustin Ortiz versus Alexandre Penjola. Kevin, you start us off with 15 seconds.
Yeah, well, the fights are in Boston, Massachusetts, so I don't even really know that we should all show up for this one. But I'm going to go with Pantoja, the cannibal, because Pantoja sounds like a Mexican curse word to me. He's Brazilian.
It does, Kevin. Very good. All right, Jason, I've got 15 for you, sir. Go.
All right. You said it's in Boston. I had a friend in the Army in Boston, and his last name was Ortiz, so I'm definitely going with Ortiz. It's happening. It's destiny.
Okay. I like that.
Listen to him playing the veteran card just seconds in, and to also brag about having friends. Yeah, we get it, Jason.
Yeah, I have friends.
I hear you. All right.
I want to ask this, Jason, because I think it's an important question to ask. Are you going to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the answer to all of your questions?
I loved it. I actually did like it. That did have
I love the journey he took us on from being like, I had a friend in the Army who once also had a roommate in Southampton, which, as we all know, means Hampton, Benjamins. He's got all the Benjamins. Ice Cube was in that movie, therefore he can win. So
exactly. That's how my mind goes. That's how that's how I do it.
I mean, it's worked so far for you in life. Let's go to our next match. Jason, you're going to lead us off. It is Calvin Kattar versus Shane Burgos. Go.
Calvin Kattar versus Shane Burgos. Okay, so Burgos has really nice hair, and he's got a sweet beard going on. Oh, he's undefeated, so I'm going Burgos.
Wow. That journey was the best I think I've ever heard, Kevin. Why don't you go next?
It's so hard as I'm staring into the photo with his crisp tattoos and his wandering eyes. That said, I'm going to go with Calvin Kattar because Calvin is a tough name to grow up with.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to ask this again because I just want to make sure the logic is sound. Jason, how did you come to that very tough decision again?
Well, I was looking at their fight records, and I see that he, Burgos is, or however you pronounce it, is undefeated. That says a lot, man. Yeah, he's got a lot of fight in him. He doesn't want to get that one loss, and his hair is just so suave.
But see, Kev, here's my question for you now. Do you feel that he just neglected the beautiful hair?
He's definitely not giving it enough credence in terms of like his other features he needs to discuss too. So I think it's a whole package situation. That's my gut.
Listened to the show for years. I've never had anybody do a decision so quickly of like bullshit. Oh, he's undefeated. Oh,
can't tell if he's too. Oh, his record. Great. No, yeah.
I should just look at the thing that tells me how much people win and lose. Oops, Kev. I'm going to have you go on this next one. 15 seconds on the clock. Who is going to win this women's strawweight match between Myra Moros and Jamie Moyle?
Yeah. First of all, if you're like me and you've been drinking, reading these two names got really difficult. But I got to go. I'm going with an international theme. I'm going with the fighter from Ukraine because from what I know about Ukraine, she's fighting for a lot more than just this one. I'm going with Moros. Marina is her first name.
There you go. I got the Moros. It took us for a second. All right, what do you got for us, Mini Hayden?
Let me see here. I'm checking out the stats, record. Can we agree on the same person?
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moros. Yeah, definitely. Go with Moros.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin.
You're out of time, but Kevin, my question to you is, how much shit do you think we'll have to take for calling him Mini Hayden? Follow-up question. Does he actually like that nickname?
It's hard to tell because you could tell there's some affection for his bigger, stronger, better-looking, smarter brother. The talented Hayden, as we all refer to him. You can tell there's a lot of that deepness in the Mini Hayden title, so maybe he just kind of consumes it. Like, oh, people won't notice. I'll just think I'm my brother's left thigh.
Hey, I've lived in my brother's shadow for years. I'm used to it. I'm good with it. I'm used to it. I'm cool.
My question for you is, if you live in your brother's shadow, whose shadow does Kevin live in?
Raft as far as his shadow.
My drug dealer, MMJ America. Wrong. And I would also
have you lead off. It's a featherweight bout. Kevin, go ahead. You clearly want to say something.
Well, hit me with the featherweight bout. I'll talk smack on him and make my pick.
Okay. This featherweight Iggy and Julio Arce, and if you so fit in Mac talk to Mini Hayden, that would be appreciated. And go.
Okay, I believe you said Dan Iggy versus Julio Arce. Smack talk would be, I would argue, Jason, you have not spent that much time in your brother's shadow. Otherwise, there would have been no way Wagner Roker could have smacked the shit out of you so bad. Julio Arce is my choice.
Wow. Oh, man. Okay.
dangerous. You know what, Jason? I'm giving you 20 seconds on this one.
All right, so I can't wait to roll with you, Kev. I'm going to be in LA for a really long time. It's going to be 2 weeks. I'm sure I'll meet you and we'll get some rolls in and I'll be able to pay it forward. But I'm going to go with Ars as well because his last name rhymes with Darce. You just got to add a D at the beginning of the last name.
No
and
choice.
He's going to win by Darce.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, we have no choice. His name is Ars. Everyone has to choose Ars.
All right, next pick. Who is going to win between a light heavyweight bout between Gigan Villante and Frankamar Brosco? Go.
Is this me or is this Hayden?
Oh, hold on. Kevin, you.
I gotta go with it's always so I'm sticking with an international theme. And Barosco is a cool name. So I'm going with Francimar, and I'm going to go double down and name a first child Francimar.
Deal. Jason?
All right, I'm going to go with Villante because he's just got he's just got a big face.
A big, beautiful face.
Yeah, it looks strong, and it looks like he can take some shots and give some too. So I'm gonna go with Villante.
Kev?
Yeah? Can we make that his nickname? Gian,
do you know who else can take some shots and give some too?
Stormy Daniels?
Wow. Too topical. I was going to say Jason Hayden, but...
that is a good... Yeah, him too.
Yeah, love it.
At least that's what Wagner told me. Hey,
it's tattooed on his...
This is too good. Here's what I want to say about this, Jason. You don't know this, but Kevin doesn't live in L.A.
No. Okay. Damn it.
And we won't be telling you where I live. Not
where do you
tonight.
Live? I'm going to find it out.
We'll text you his address in just a little bit.
Damn it, Raph.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Raph. Thank you.
And it's in the
You're
Ukraine.
welcome. I want to point this out. We're putting 30 seconds on the clock for this next bout. It is your co-main event between Daniel Cormier versus Volkan Ozdemir. Go. This one, Jason, 30 seconds to start.
All right, I'm going to go with DC. You got to go with DC, man. Being honest, like his heart is ridiculous. His wrestling's crazy. He picked up Josh Barnett, I believe, and just like threw him. Who can pick up Josh Barnett and throw him? So I'm definitely going with DC. I'm a big DC fan. I like his fights with John Jones and, Little Fedor is his nickname, I guess. That's what some people call him. So DC all the way.
Kev?
He's another year older, and I know two things in this world. I know that In-N-Out tastes great, and I know that Switzerland produces the best fighters on the planet. Volkan Ozdemir, a.k.a. No Time, and I don't even know what the fuck that nickname means, No Time Ozdemir, has this bland look on his face that can only come from someone so deeply good at one thing, they have a confidence to look that stupid. I choose Vulcan.
Okay. Kev, just real quick. Is Vulcan from one of the shithole countries or the good ones?
This is a good one. This is a good one. I mean, they're not good. He's not moving here after the fight. Like, there's a few of these guys that might stay in Boston. I don't think Ozdemir's like, I got to get back so I can get this healthcare taken care of.
Gotcha. Guess. All right, let's go to our next bout. It is a lightweight bout between Islam Makhachev, which bless you, versus Gleason Tibiao. Kev, you start.
I have again. This is Russia versus Brazil, so this is tough. Now I love Tibiao. He's fought 274 times in the UFC, but I gotta go with Makhachev.
Okay. Jason, what do you got for us, sir?
I'm going to go with Tibiao. Watched him fight in the WEC and the UFC, and it reminds me of Teabag. So I'm going to go with Tibiao.
Okay.
If
Kev,
Buffer
response?
yeah, if Buffer slightly messes up, Teabag is in play.
Exactly.
Listen, Teabag. Whoa, not Teabag. Dave Teabag.
Yeah, I hope he does.
All right, let's go to our next fight. It's a bantamweight fight between Thomas
Okay.
Alameda versus Rob Font. Jason, you start us at 15.
I'm going with my boy Rob Font. I've actually trained with him a couple times, and he's a pretty cool guy, really nice, and he's always looking dapper. Sweet beard going on. I'm always going to compliment the good looks. I'm going Rob Font.
Kevin.
Yeah, I feel like a real Griffey regular on my way to an Escalope Crust 1 along with the Baracho 8 Loco. Those are three of the craziest fonts I could find on the planet to throw the ultimate string of puns towards my boy Times New Roman, Rob Kaluki.
You're going for Tom Alameda.
I am going with Rob Font. How dare you?
I just listened. You were mocking his name, so I didn't know if it was a good mock. Or
I
a
was
bad
celebrating.
Mock.
I was celebrating it. I was like, Rob Font. I just can't believe the UFC keeps writing it in the same other fucking font. It's pissing me off. There's like
Kev,
one
I want you to
pun.
understand. I want you to understand what we heard. If you listen back to that whole thing, like Tobias Funke, and you just use air quotes at every single emphasis, you would understand where I'm coming from.
I hear you. I still can't believe his nickname isn't Rob Times New Roman Font.
That should be. It should be.
How is that not his nickname?
Kev, are you a little mad that at this point you, Mini Hayden over here, use the privilege of knowing how a person rolls as extra information?
I was upset about that. I actually did note that and thought it was an unfair advantage.
It is.
Yeah, and Rob Font smelled really good too, so he's gonna win.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, that's how you know Mini Hayden lies. Let's go to our next one. It's a featherweight bout between Kyle Bochanak versus Brandon Davis. Kev, you start us.
Yeah, this is tough because one of them has a super sharp face and the other one is tatted up like, they've had nothing better to do. So I'm gonna go with the person that doesn't have a nickname in the hopes that tells me something. I'm going with Brandon Black and White Tattoos Davis.
Okay. Jason?
All right, so I'm gonna go with Kyle Bochanak because Brandon Davis is such a cookie cutter name, and somebody with the last name Bochanak sounds pretty badass. So I'm going Kyle Bochanak.
Kev, do you take offense to that because you have a cookie cutter name as well?
Yes, I do. And I'm not Filipino. He already dropped that too to further endear himself to more audiences. I caught it. And to our Filipino listeners, we have a good 1.7% share that occasionally because of this. We brought him on, in celebration of culture.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask this though, Jason, do you like bets?
Yeah.
Okay. Little part of the show that we like to clue people on, we're 3 away from being done with this game, but we usually have a wager. Now, we know that you're a jiu-jitsu athlete, so you have no money, so it's not money. Mm-hmm. But, Kevin, what are some examples of some bets that you've actually won?
Oh, that I've won?
Yeah.
Those are always way more fun. I've won a few social media shout-outs that feels really good. I've won a 5-star review for the podcast. With a particular theme that had almost nothing to do with the podcast. I have won a T-shirt challenge. I've won at least a few times where I also got a little inside information on some jiu-jitsu. Well, private action. There you go.
Now, Kev, what have you lost?
Oh, so many times. A lot of dignity. I had to change my social media handle once to just celebrate someone else for a day. Had to make a few videos explaining or apologizing or aggrandizing a particular athlete, those types of things.
Now, Jason, having heard all that, without saying what it is if you do have one. But do you have a bet in mind for Kevin?
A bet in mind.
It's okay.
I
You've
made
got time to
someone
think
from
about
the jiu-jitsu commentary community put makeup on to do an interview. That felt good.
Oh man, that's that's super hot. I don't know.
I know.
I like
I'm a
You're learning
feminist.
a
I'm just
lot.
trying to push the envelope.
I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about it for a little bit.
You've got 3 fights to really sit and ponder about it. But since we always defer to the guest, keep that in the back of your mind. Let's go to a
Yes,
featherweight
sir.
bout. And I'm going to ask you this right now. Who's going to win between Enrique Barzola versus Matt Bessette? Jason, 15 on the clock.
Enrique Barzola, Matt. I'm gonna go with Matt Bizet because I have a friend named Matt that lives in Kentucky, and he's awesome.
Close enough. Kevin, what do you have for us?
Yeah, well, I have a friend who lives in Peru, and they're pretty awesome. Enrique Barzola El Fuerte, who's 14-3. He's not washed up and not overcompensating with a pointy tattoo.
Ooh.
I know.
All right, let's do this.
Peru
The
to
next bout
Boston.
is a welterweight bout. And Kev, you're going to lead us off on this one. It's Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Ooh, it's a pretty dicey name. Versus Salah Homasi, which, again, an equally as terrible name. I think this whole is actually sponsored by the TSA. But, Kev, what do you have for us?
I'm going with Razak Al Hassan because his country is Ghana. And I think there might be an extra pissed off just piece of it in his blood. Now, obviously, Sabah Hamazi will barely make it in through customs, so he's going to have his own things to be pissed off about. But neither's Razak Al Hassan. So I think everybody comes to the table with an even playing field with an extra pissed off chip. Ghana, Razak Al Hassan.
Jason, what do you got for us?
I'm going to have to agree with you, Kev. I say Al Hassan. He's 8-1. And yeah, Ghana, that says a lot. He looks really scary too, looking at this picture. So I'm
Not
scared.
a small man. Not a small man.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Kev, do you notice a pattern Jason's been following in your footsteps, much like he's been doing?
Honestly, it's felt
brother
like
all these years.
Yeah, I finally found someone who shares my views on these fighters. It's really nice.
Jason, what's your response to that, sir?
Oh, what was that again? I can't hear you.
Just asking for your response to that.
He's asking, you're using the more physical approach that I've used these past few years, so he's a little concerned that you might be using my paradigm. Does that make you nervous that you're using similar?
No, it doesn't, man. I'm glad that we share some same views. We could be best friends in the future.
I see it happening, especially if you, smack talk comments aside, Raph. Do I have Raph?
Well, let's
I
do this, guys. Let's get to the bottom line of this card. Let's get to who is going to win the heavyweight bout between Stipe Mikic and Francis Ngannou, which I think is where one of the Winter Olympics was held. But I'm going to go ahead and put 30 seconds on the timer for Jason Hayden. Go for it, sir.
All right, I'm going. Dang it, I want to say Miocic, but I mean he's a firefighter. That's why that's the path I'm going down. I want to say Miocic, but Ngannou used to be freaking homeless, so he's got a lot to prove. I'm gonna go Ngannou, and he has the hardest punch recorded ever. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ngannou. I'm gonna go Ngannou for sure.
Kev.
This is tough because,
yeah,
what I'm about. Raph and I were talking about LeBron James losing to Kevin Durant again tonight, and we had that moment where it was like, why does Cleveland deserve this? And that's where I'm stuck right now. I want to just, screw it. I'm going to agree with the smacked around mini Hayden. I got to go with Francis, the Predator Ngannou, just because I want to ride this wave. I want to. He hit him so hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ngannou
Kev,
all
though,
around.
you don't have the ties to this, Kev, but did you hear how quickly Jason sold out his profession on that answer, though?
I did not.
Wow. Stop it, Raph. What are you doing?
I listen, as the moderator, it's my job to point out inconsistencies. And you started by millionairing your way through that answer. And, well, I'm a fighter, so I gotta go Miocic. Just kidding. I'm going for the black guy who's homeless. I love him.
Well, Miocic, he's been the champ. He's done some things, and somebody that's came from a really crappy background like that, I feel like deserves it. I mean, hey, maybe Ngannou can win, get the belt, and Miocic can win it back. I'd be cool with that.
That's fine. Now, I want to ask this to Kevin. What do you think that Jason's fellow firefighters will think of that answer?
I mean, they'll think, gosh, there's Hayden talking smack again, and then the clip of him getting the shit beat out of him will start playing. They'll be like, oh, I feel better. Look at that. That feels great.
You would
and I talk a lot of
show
smack
is
too.
Sponsored by Wagner Rocha himself,
or any EBI loss. Like I was trying to bring up Moores, but I was like, no. I mean, obviously, it's so fun to talk smack on your loss because you're fighting in these big shows while I'm watching you.
Well, hopefully one day we can roll with each other, and then you know what I'm saying, get that on film and see how that goes.
Oh God. Well, okay. Well, you might be sifting into the bet, but I think the people at home know how that's gonna go.
So let's do this. You guys seem to agree on a lot of these picks.
Yeah.
So that means that it's going to come down to maybe some tiebreakers here, which means we pick who we think is going to get the 2 performances of the night, because they gave out 2 performances, and then they give out 1 fight of the night. So, Kevin, you're going to lead us off on this. Who is going to win the performances of the night, and who is going to win the fight of the night?
Yeah, fight of the night clearly goes to Miocic, Ngannou. Pretty much, if someone survives it. Excuse me. The other performance of the night, the first one is going to go to Rob Font, and that's going to be crazy. But I'm just doubling down on all my Font stock because I don't get enough chance to Calibri that. And then I'm going to go with, and this is a dark horse for me, Barroso. Look out. I just stole the show. Mic drop.
Noted. Jason, what do you got for us, sir?
So what do we got? Performance of the night and fight of the night. What do we got so far?
2 performances of the night. So Kevin picked Font and Barzo, and fight of the night is Miocic versus Ngannou.
All right, so fight of the night. I'm going to start off with that one. I'm going to go DC and Vulcan. DC's always bringing it. He's always moving forward, and he's always trying to rock somebody. So I'm going to go DC with fight of the night. Performance of the night. Also going to agree with Rob Font. He's a freaking awesome 135er. Likes to hit hard. Likes to put on a show. And the other performance of the night, I'm going to go with Matt Besete and Enrique Barzola. The reason why is because if you take one S, an E, and another T, and another E out of Besete's name, his last name's Best, and he's going to – yeah, that's cool. That's a cool last name. So
just to clarify, you have Rob Font and Besete as your 2 performances of the night?
Yep, and then fight of the night's going to go to DC and Vulcan.
Okay. Kev, were you asking the same question?
I was going to point of order it, but you took care of it as the chairman.
Okay.
I apologize. I tried to jump on your Iron Chef throne.
It's very rude of you, and know that I'm always competent at what I do. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's come to the point where we return back to one Jason Hayden, and we ask, you had some time to think about a bet, sir. What do you have in mind?
Okay. So my bet is I want to – where does Kevin live? I want to roll with him.
Kevin lives in Denver. Now, another thing, and
where I live.
I will tell him because I will beg for your mercy, Kevin. Kevin has been injured for a little while, and by a little while I mean we're going on what, 8 months now, Kev?
They took a plug with some cartilage from my knee and put it in my knuckle to try and keep me from needing a knuckle replacement. To give you an idea of the tenacity, but I'm back in February, Mini Hayden.
Okay.
Kev, that was not the right way to go if you were looking to get out.
You're right. I'm back in April, Sir Knight and fondness of the leg arts, Hayden.
So it sounded like you wanted to beat him into a pulp. However, that is a possibility. You just might have to delay it and also like fly there on your own accord. That's not an important thing. Jason, what did you have in mind, sir?
Okay, so you know those one games where people like have to like play charades, but they have that little plastic piece in their mouth?
No. What is that?
Oh my gosh, it's such a funny game. But I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but he has got to do a podcast with one of those in his mouth.
Point of order. No, I can't have that. Kevin's already done it.
This happens.
I can't do the job with two people. However,
Military.
I like your out.
Anyone who's been in the military always raises the stakes on these bets, like to the tens. It cracks me up.
You should inform him of the last person you had a wager with and what they were trying to get you to do.
Yeah, TJ, also a veteran like yourself, was trying to get me to shave my head. TJ Butler, who creates a lovely veteran soap.
Yeah,
by the way.
TJ, man, that's crazy. It's such a small world. We were in the same battalion together. I used to see him in Alaska all the time.
I was like, it's just perusing back to me, as Raph already knows that you guys know each other, and we discussed that on the podcast.
But what was TJ trying to get you to bet, Kevin?
He wanted me to shave my head if I lost. He was like, you got to do it. It was like, oh, God. Damn it. You people in the military just have a whole different sense of bravery.
You were mentioning that. It made me think that Kevin should have to play charades online with that thing in his mouth. But then I was like, that's too intense. Kev, do you have something in mind?
Well, I do think there's an opportunity for us here. Why let actually having to roll get in the way? I say the loser has to give a praise video about how the other one destroyed them, regardless of what happened.
Wearing something.
Oh, now we're in.
Okay.
Wearing a bikini.
I would, another point of order, because we've learned a lot about Hayden's sexuality on this episode. And when he says wearing a bikini, I think it's because he has one on lock and he's ready to put it on at any given moment.
I got one ready to go.
Okay, Raph, I know what I want. All right.
What do you?
Okay, I want a technique video in just flat out drag. Just a nice dress, a little bit of makeup, and a quick 2-minute, 3-minute leg lock technique video from Mini Hayden.
Okay, I'm down. I'll do that.
And if Kevin win, or if you win, what does Kevin have to do?
If I win, I want Kev to do a technique. Actually, you said you're good, Kev, in February, right?
Yeah, I'm back in February.
Okay. I want Kev to show a technique. I keep thinking bikini.
That's on you. I mean, with your there's no lingerie rules here.
I don't know what's going on.
Let me.
Well, okay, hold on. I can acquiesce to a bikini. It's just going to be outside some rash guards.
That's perfect. Let's do that.
Accepted.
That's
Deal.
fair. And I feel it's fair for America, if I'm being honest.
It's best.
Lame.
I don't have that
Lame.
Hayden physique. It's going to be best for everybody.
Jason, you're calling it lame, but I feel in this Me Too culture, you need to understand what you're asking Kevin is almost sexual assault.
Only because of the size of my thighs. I have very
Absolutely.
girthy thighs, but otherwise.
I guess you're right. I'm sorry.
So, Jason, here's how we like to play this game. We do the predictions one week. Are you willing to come back and talk to us next week about the fights?
No.
Well, okay. See, you're really being a dick on this, and we booked you with the promise of 2 appearances, not 1, you asshole. So let's try that question again. You willing to come on next week and talk about the fights?
Yes.
There we go. All right. So, guys, if you are hearing this and you want a great seminar, learn from the best. And when I say this, I 100% mean it. When they did a seminar at the Jiu-Jitsu Club this February or this January, earlier this past year, it was phenomenal. And I cannot recommend it enough. So if you get the opportunity and you guys are looking for seminars, get in touch with Jason over here. Jason, where can they get in touch with you, sir?
They can get in touch with me on Instagram and even Facebook. My Instagram name is sometimes I don't even remember it, but it's JAY_HAYYYBJJ. And just search me on Facebook at Jason Hayden.
All right. Well, we're going to work on that plug at the very end, but sir, we always look forward to talking to you, and we're very much happy that you were able to play this week's version of Over Under Kevin. And being a reporter on site, most of our on-site reporters aren't as vicious as you, so we're very happy you were able to come through and talk on the show this week, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome.
Raph, there's a lot of history about to be made in Kansas City, and I know that can be nervous with the 2018 climate the way it is. This is good history. This is all good history. There is a jiu-jitsu event highlighted in the center of the country where people are the most bored, arguably the most seasoned of weather and tough and used to traveling to targets. I mean, I don't need to say any more. You and I are big fans, and you have more maybe empathy than anyone in terms of the hosting, running tournament stress, and maybe, you know, just some of the more negotiating qualities.
Well, hold on. It's not just hosting like an actual tournament. We have somebody on the line right now who is, the word's not foolish, but it's definitely like game or foolishly game. I think that's a good combination to do both a giant tournament and a giant event, a grappling event of the kind of magnitude your beloved Kansas City has never seen before, Kev.
It's crazy. And of course, big reveal. It's Travis T Money Conley not choking people this time, yeah. Maybe. Well, we'll see. Hold on. Here to talk about the Blue Corner Ultimate Absolute event going on January 27th. Going to be streaming. Travis, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Doing fantastic.
Did you crush 50 more push-ups beforehand?
I did 75, actually, before dinner.
Oh, okay, before dinner. I don't know what time dinner is, but that hardly. Just to get the blood pumping before you eat some egg whites and some oatmeal.
Helps digestion and, gets everything going.
I almost understand. Again,
I feel that's a fake science, but I'm not smart enough to tell you it is.
It's pretty cold here. I've been drinking vodka all day just to keep it cozy. You are crazy enough to bring live grappling 7 o'clock from Kansas City. How's it going tournament-wise? Talk us through the whole thing. Like, give us a little schedule. It starts with a tournament. It starts with a ton of kids stuff in the morning with a cool adult open class tournament, which is going to be pretty badass to get in Kansas City. Talk us through how things are doing.
Yeah, like you said, it starts at 9 a.m. The kids, it's primarily, like I've been telling everyone, and since we started this, it's the number one focus is a kids tournament first. Like we wanted to give the kids a better experience, with the round robin format, just a friendlier experience overall, better tournament experience. Like that's the biggest thing I heard when I surveyed a ton of people. I'm like, hey, what do you want to see at a tournament, or what's your biggest thing? And that's what everyone said. Like, we want our kids to get more matches, or we want, kids to get a better experience. So that's been our number one goal. And that's where the round robin format comes in. Everybody fights everybody. If you're not familiar with that format, some people have been surprised, aren't. But with that being said, it takes a lot more time, and so I only did limited adult divisions, which turned out pretty cool because we threw cash at all the divisions, purple belt and above, male and female, and we've got some pretty awesome lineups.
Well,
and
let me throw in a compliment before you get to the lineups, because you have some fighters Raph has found in the depths and brought on this very podcast, which I still disagree with James Partridge being on here, but he was. Travis, the round robin, I've competed round robin. Here's what I'll say. I was a blue belt, and looking back, it's like, okay, I didn't know how I felt about it. It was great. I lost some jitters about halfway through the tournament just because it was like, well, you're fighting everyone, so who the fuck cares how tall that guy is or how big that guy is? Like, it's just going to happen. So I thought it was a really good experience that, in a blue belt tournament that I don't even remember how I did Ford for. But it was just fun to do.
They're great. And I think for kids, it's super important because, so many other organizations, it's like one and done, or you go there and you travel 3, 4, 5 hours, pay 80, 90, $100 and have one match or two matches, and then you're done. And it's like, I don't want that. I wanted to buck the system and give kids a better opportunity because they're the future. They are what's coming up. It's it's about them, and then the adults will take on after that those absolute divisions. But it's looking really good for the kids. Like I think there's probably 75 kids registered already, and I might have to shut it down pretty soon for time constraints, close registration. So we'll see.
Well, looking forward to, let's get to some of the lineup. I already mentioned James Partridge is on this. You're letting Taylor fight, which, fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
I actually watched him compete. I'm a Taylor whisperer for the Flow grappling feed. When you're trying to find people, it's extremely difficult. Yeah. Not me and Taylor. I can find him fighting his first match almost in queue in his next 4. So that should actually be fun. If people don't know who Taylor Kettler is, you can find him on the Flow grappling search for fighters. He's far too large of a human being, is my only opinion.
Yeah.
What is that?
Is it, a 3-time no-gi world champion? He's okay.
But again, his head's too big. Raph, is there like a hormone you take for a bigger head? Do you know?
Kevin, this is the weirdest part of the whole Raph has a large head conversation we get into. Kevin doesn't have a small head, so I don't really understand how you get off asking these questions.
I have larger ears, but you have you have a Taylor-sized head, which is like built for television. It's great, but I just assumed.
I will point it to you this way.
Vitamin.
My man out here, Damon, who I train with, says it like this. Damon, a very, very large black man, says to me, he's like, Ruff, you got a man's head. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. You got a man's head. So that's what I'm going with these days. Here's what I want to know. So, Travis, Kevin's previewing, and albeit terribly, some of the people you have on here. But who are some of the other people that we should keep an eye out for? Because when you say that there's a grappling event, you guys haven't had a fight to win out that way. You haven't had a major show. So when
EBI
I hear
hasn't
this and
gone
I hear,
out there, cowards,
not yet,
cowards.
Not yet. They're afraid, Kev.
Plenty of
but
theaters.
when you talk about bringing this out to the Midwest, one of our biggest goals is, spreading the love and the ability to showcase great grappling. And yes, the Midwest and the South and all these places that normally get neglected, they deserve it. So who are some of the people that we can expect to see on this card as well?
The co-main event is Ezra Lennon versus Carlos Dallas. Ezra is out of St. Louis. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's a phenomenal grappler. He's got a lot of no-gi accomplishments. He's beat some really big names. Competed in 5 a lot. No-gi Pans medalist, beat Pablo Pavlovich. I mean, it goes on and on.
He's fought
and
everybody.
Carlos,
he fought Glover.
Yeah,
he's fought like a ton of people.
Yeah, I fought Jeff Glover at 5 not too long ago. Dopp fights Jared Dopp. He's fought Dopp a couple times. And then it's against Carlos, who is just like the resident badass who, like, I don't know. I can't say enough good things about Carlos. He's just a sleeper because he doesn't compete that much. And I'm really excited for this opportunity for him to compete in Kansas City and give him that showcase.
I've rolled
But
with Carlos.
he's just an animal.
Yeah, sure. I mean, people will get to see Carlos, but Carlos is just pure muscle. He's one giant, large, aggressive muscle, and he's very quick in the gi. Is this a gi match? Oh yeah, 195 gi. Oh, badass.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be fun.
And
Carlos
then there's
he's something else.
There's five black belt matches on there, on the card. The main event is Renato Tavares versus Ninja Pinto. That's a great matchup. I mean, Ninja has fought all over the world. He's medaled at the Asian Open, Pans, Worlds, Europeans. He goes like every year at the adult level, just tearing it up. Really good competitor. I respect him a lot. And then, of course, Renato is turning 50 this year, and he's still just blazing a trail. And so I'm really excited about the main event. There's tons of no-gi matches that I'm really excited about. There's a Russian guy, Vikinti, who's going against one of Jams's teammates. That one will be one to watch.
Hunter
I've
Colvin.
competed against. Yes, I've competed against Vikinti. He's a Russian bear. That one will be fun. I don't know.
180-pound no-gi. The brown belts are kind of stacked. There's some really good brown belts in here.
Yeah.
You got some.
Devin,
you got a good mix too. Combative Sports Center people. I just saw that from just to highlight a few more black belts. Al Mildred and Brad Jepson, which are just down the highway, and they train with Wilk. They're gonna be badasses.
Yeah. I felt like I did a pretty good job putting this card together. I've never felt like I still don't feel like I'm I would definitely not label myself a promoter, but I just sent some messages and made some calls and put some matches together. And Ben Nogueras, who, asked me to do this, he's fantastic to work with. He's the one that, asked me to do this. And I was like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this if you want to do it. And he's like, okay, let's do it. So he's made it possible. But with that being said, we're both really proud of what we've built, and it's a ton of work. But you guys know me, like anything I do, once I sink my teeth into it, it's like it's all or nothing. So going at this one pretty hard, and I think it's going to really pay off. I don't think it is going to really pay off with the fans and the athletes and everybody involved. It's really something special, something cool to be a part of.
Now, here's a question I have, because I figured this would be the case, but when I looked at this card, I didn't see you on it. And I think to myself, you're a great asset. So if you're not on this card, it means you take a behind the scenes role. And you say you're not a promoter, but you sort of now are a promoter. So putting this together, kudos on that. But given your history with pro wrestling, don't you know that this means you got to be chomping on a giant cigar of some sort with some sort of giant oversized hat? I mean,
a fur
you
coat,
have to fit
maybe
and
winter.
Look the part, sir. Like this is part of the world. If you're not out there, that's the part of the promoter. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah. Well, no, I was going to get some airbrushed jackets and a megaphone like Jimmy Hart and, just run around, and just bark orders and be annoying. But no, you're right. Like, I guess I am a former professional wrestler, so I am a promoter in a sense. I'm always going to be promoting, I guess. But,
you heard it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not on the card because I just don't feel like that's appropriate.
You don't want to put
there's
yourself
so much
through
I'm
that?
doing.
Competing and
Well, that would be tough in itself, but first and foremost, like if I'm like working on this, like that's first and foremost the job to like make sure everything happens and like it. I mean, Raph knows there's so much going into this, so to take attention away from that to compete or to train and or whatever to have focus on a match, like that's just going to take away from the show's success as a whole. So I don't want to do that. Plus, I've seen guys that like, hey, put yourself on your own show, and it's like, like I don't know, that's just not good form. I don't think.
What are you talking about? Metamorphs does it all the time, and it works wonderfully for them.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
I just, you know what it is like I want to make.
Said, if there's like an injury or something. Like, Seth Daniels did it. Like, he had to jump in, like, last minute and, like, jump into a super fight. Like, I'll definitely do something like that. But as far as, like, actually scheduling and promoting my own match that I'm helping put on, like, no, that's bad form.
I just want to say this. I think it is good form of you to actually understand. If you've never put on an event like this, kudos to you. You don't have to. Not everybody has to do this sort of thing. But for whatever disgusting reason, there is some sort of thing for people like yourself who are competitors and know what the competitors want and want to try and give a better experience. For somebody like me, like I get to interview athletes all the time. So a lot of times I want to do what I do well to help them have a great tournament. But I think one thing that you do share that I have, which is this. Whenever there's a tournament that we put together, I 100% have like gi and no gi attire because I just think, what if? And at one of our tournaments, and I mean this in the nicest of ways, but there was a guy who didn't get a match for whatever reason, and he happened to be blind. And I looked at this guy, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. How did you not get a match? And he's just like, he couldn't have been nicer about it. He was just like, yeah, dude, it's fine. He's like, it's no big deal. And I was like, I want to make this right. I'm looking for people in your division. And then at one point I just go, do you want to beat me up? Do you want to match with me? I will Vince McMahon my way into this real quick if you need something. And this guy just, with all seriousness, just like looked at me. He laughs and he's like, I appreciate that, man. And I just looked at him and I was like, yo, don't get me wrong. I don't have any inclination to want to do this, but I want you to have a good experience. And so a lot of that comes from, like when I say Vince McMahon half the time literally is like, well, shave my damn bald head off. And that's what he's doing to put on a P.T. Barnum show. So I can appreciate your respect for wanting to put on the other side. Having said that, what are some of the things that you're finding? Because you can say 100 bad things that come with the job because it's a tough gig. But what are some of the good things that you are taking from being on the other side right now?
Man, just getting to know, like, the way I set up the adult absolutes, it's like it's 8 people. Once those 8 people are filled, then that's it. So it's kind of like it's a first come, first serve. Like you pay the $50 or whatever, and then your name's on there and that's it. And I've been getting like this flood of like messages like, hey, can I get in this session? It's like, no, it's full. Like all the divisions, the adult divisions have been full for a while now. And so like, I was actually just thinking today, like a cool thing is I'm like, some people ask like, oh, hey, who's in that division or whatever before they'd fill up, but then there's the people who just like sign up and it's like, no matter what, like I know I'm going to get 7 matches. It's an absolute open weight. Like, I'm like, that's badass. Like those people that just, signed on the line and they're like, let me fight for the $300 or the $500 and the belt. And I don't care who it is,
For real, dude, because I have put together invitationals where people are like, what's the bracket? And I was like, well, the people. They're like, let me see the bracket. I was like, are you not going to do the tournament if you don't have the bracket? Like, if I were you, I'd just assume I might just have anything with any one of these people. And so, like, it gets to people. So when someone, like, looks and they say, like, hey, I look at them, I was like, do you want to see the bracket? And they're like, I don't care who I'm going to take on. I'm like, I like you. I'm going to give you a match as many times as I can. I will look for you in the future and make references for you.
Right.
But But yeah, it's interesting because these sort of things, I understand them. They're high pressure situations. Everybody wants to look good, but man, do you love those people who are just like, I'm just entering, dude. Just give me some matches and some good competition.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing. It's like the name is not like an accident either. It's like it's the ultimate absolute. Like there's no.
So there's a lot of limits.
Shut up, Kevin. Can I point something out now, Kev? Is this a good time to transition?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Is this a good time to make a reveal?
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Because I wanted to pick the best possible moment Kevin had a drop in to let Kevin make an announcement.
I'm going to be doing some commentary on these fights. Myself and the, I think, overqualified Ethan Day, whom we've taken a class with, who's quite the accomplished instructor / Kansas City jiu-jitsu aficionado. He's just sort of like a Kansas City person that happens to be teaching in Colorado, is a better way to describe him. And
well, he's lived all over. He lived in China for like 6 months, and he lived in Florida for years. He's
travels to Brazil.
He's the modern
pretty frequently.
Yeah, he goes to Brazil all the time. He is like John Rambo. So
snowboards more than most people that travel that often. By the way, we'll still catch. I just see his pictures and I get really jealous while I'm arriving to work. So it's going to be, that's part of the historic. You've got people flocking back to Kansas City to do some calls, bringing some of the verbal tap flair, and I'm excited as hell because I've at least fought a few of these people pretty unsuccessfully.
But I guess my question for you, though, and this is not to Kevin, this is to Travis. You've heard Kevin on the microphone, right? Like specifically this show.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And yet we're behind this decision?
Well, his fee was set pretty good. So.
I want to make sure
everyone in the audience knows exactly what that meant, by the way.
I just listen, guys.
They were like, yeah, Kevin, sure. Yeah.
That I don't want to say Kevin's the Ralph Wiggum of podcasting, where he sometimes blurts out, those savant like, me fail English, that's impossible. Like, there is that. But that's a lot of work. Kev, are you up for this task? Can you do this, Kevin?
Fair question. And you don't know until you arrive. And I've got to be on my best behavior because there's amateur teens mixed in here.
No.
Yeah, which always makes me nervous too, because anytime I see kids fighting at a high level, it's always like naturally I just get scared. It's like, oh god, why do they get so good so fast? But I'm prepared to focus. I'm in my preparation zone. People aren't going to believe it. Well, first, weed isn't legal there, so I think we've taken a huge ingredient that distracts me off the table.
Maybe you're better without weed because you do this podcast with weed.
You never know. I don't. Again, your tone. There's a lot of reverse compliments coming with the rap questions.
Listen, Kev, I want you to be at your best. And having done the few rodeos that I've done, I'm making sure that you are up to the task. And, I'm not telling Travis that he has time to find somebody else. I'm just saying,
3 days sober, Raph.
I'm could fit it on. 3 days sober is bullshit. Don't give me that.
That was a long weekend.
That in my life. But anyway, no, Kevin is going to be doing commentary. We're very excited for that. And one of the things that I think is so fun is if you've never had the opportunity to actually watch a match with Kevin, it is one of the things that I think most people enjoy when I bring him out to California, because it's a little hidden gem. Like, Kevin watches and observes jiu-jitsu as not only a comic, but a halfway decent broadcaster. So, like, I think to myself, you could definitely do worse, but you're definitely not going to do better.
Oh, see, he's just trying to get me for a clamp. Well, Travis, I'm excited as hell. for the entire event. I'm going to be swinging by earlier. I've alerted the whole Phillips clan. They're extremely excited. They're trying to figure out a grappling tournament. They're mostly understanding what it is and what's happening. You know, it's like a pro one. They're like, where? I was like, the kids, the riverboat. They're like, what? That sounds awesome. I was like, yeah, it is awesome. So spread the word
tickets, Kevin.
On it. I just announced it to them today because they were very excited as I finalized plans. And that's a good message for everyone. Get tickets. Raph and I are talking strategies. I'm calling some of these guys. I was looking at a few of Ezra's fights, trying to call them, get an idea. I've watched quite a few Hanatos. There's going to be some good fights on this card. So people need to tune in for this thing. And you never know if Travis is just going to tag team in. There's a lot of KCBJJ people.
I'm just saying, if there's an injury, expect him to Vince McMahon and save the show. I'm not saying it's Bond, but he did allude to that. Or better yet, what if, Travis, lo and behold, they pull a Metamoris and Kevin comes out with injury and all and says, caution to the wind. Is there a purple belt that's, got a bum leg as well?
I got nothing but time to make one of those videos about me doing yoga in the woods. I mean, or what if Halleck shows up, wants to fight Travis? He's just pissed off about his success and bringing grappling to it. You never know. There's a lot that could happen.
I feel like this, Kev, if you're not doing a Hearts on Fire-esque montage for your commentating, I feel it's a failure.
I'll bring the guitar.
Please do.
Travis, we're excited you're putting this on. This is huge for Kansas City. First time you're not fighting in a while for us, which is weird. We're all going to have to recalibrate.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited to get this thing done now that we're reaching the end?
Yeah, it's all the preparation, and now it's just cruising to that finish line. So I'm excited to get it going, and then just give something, like I said, for the people of Kansas City. It's a way for me to give back to the city I grew up in, the city I've always lived in, and at the same time share jiu-jitsu, share grappling, and educate people on, what it is. That's the great thing about, Fight to Win. It educates people and gives jiu-jitsu and grappling, puts it on a different platform that's more spectator friendly. Like, no one wants to go to a tournament and sit for, 6, 7, 8 hours. Like, it's like a wrestling tournament, jiu-jitsu tournament. I don't care. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot.
I'm just excited to bring it to Kansas City and the partnership with Blue Corner. They've been established in Kansas City for over a decade, doing great MMA shows, pro amateur MMA shows, and this is just a way for him to reach out and expand. And he said, "Hey, can you do this?" And I said, "Yes."
And
so it's happening.
And there it is. And then Travis means it when he says yes. Well, you run your own business. You have a young son, though. I mean, I was going to call him an infant, though. I see his lifting routine. I think he's probably upstaged, right? He's like gone into full-on youthful adolescence if he keeps up at this pace. So you're crazy.
He does.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that he does, he just bangs out, sets of pull-ups. I've never, you'd think I'd be do your sets of pull-ups, but he just does them. I've never showed him how to do them. He just, goes like this with his fingers, motioning up to the sky. And I lift him up to the bar, and he does pull-ups. He's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, no DNA test needed then. Any of that.
He just banged out 5. He let a wrestling howl at the end. Was good. It's like, woo!
He actually raffled like this. We watched the Ric Flair 30 for 30, and he would do this baby woo. He'd be
oh my God.
Woo, all the time.
That is
13, or it's 14 months, 15 months when we watched it. It was just awesome.
That's amazing.
And again, I didn't say son, go woo. He just started doing it.
Well, so. I mean, the hard part is we know that there are definitely fathers out there who are definitely just say woo, just do it.
Say
and you know that they need it in their lives. Like, I think you're pretty comfortable being like, yeah, dude, I don't need you to woo, but the fact that you did it on your own means I'm doing everything right.
Yeah, just heartwarming. It's just those little signs. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, so in addition to business, family, promoter life, a constant trainer and consumer of the lifestyle. So, Travis, we appreciate you carving out some time to come talk about it. January 27th, UNGDTV, undergroundtv.kling.com. Get the live stream. If you can't get out to Kansas City, if you can get out to Kansas City, go get the show. This is how we promote the circus, people. It's hitting the road. Get some tickets. Plus, casinos. I mean, Raph, I have seen some real. I walked into. Who were the people that sang "This is my last resort"? Does anybody?
You're talking to Papa Roach?
Papa Roach. I saw Papa Roach at a casino. I didn't care. That's Papa Roach. That's the low. I mean, not a terribly low bar because I love that song. But imagine now getting to see Renato Tavares. Go see the show. Is my point. Travis, thank you for swinging by the podcast this evening, sir. We'll have to talk to you when you're choking somebody out next time.
For sure, always.
Ladies and gentlemen, Travis T-Money. Raph, what a podcast. I'm going to do some commentary. We got to talk to some of our favorite people. Just some Jason, some T-Money. Ton going on, but nothing compares to the new addition at Verbal Tap. Would you like to fill the people in on the puppy and how she's doing?
She's great. Guys, we're very excited to tell you that we have an addition. Her name is Lucy Esparza. This is usually the voice that people take when they have a child, okay? And I understand there is a difference between a child and a puppy, but she's fucking adorable. And you guys are going to see so many Instagram stories about her. But she's a French bulldog. She's all of 11 pounds. So we're hoping to get her to lightweight real soon. And, here's the nice thing about it. My wife has wanted a dog for so long, and I've always been the type that I love dogs, but I've always had my dad's mentality with dogs, which is like, oh, great, I love playing with this dog, and it's yours. Bye. So it's been interesting, but my favorite thing is my wife looks at me, and she's like, you love her. And I was like, I don't dislike dogs. It's just, they're a lot of responsibility, and she's just like, no, you look at her, you and her, they love each other, which is true. Because again, if you see her, you fall in love. So, yes, Lucy Esparza is her name. She is named after a number of different funny, amazing females. Obviously, Lucy Hall was one that my family threw around, and that's true because they like the idea of like, you got some splaining to do, Lucy. But the strongest of all Lucy's comes from the show Arrested Development with Lucille Bluth. And the reason why I say this, Kev, is because she does have some looks to her that seem to relay the kind of feelings of, take it back. If I wanted something for your thumb touch, I touch the inside of your ear. Or another one that she seemed to look was whenever we're trying to potty train her. So we take her outside and we're like, hey, go smell that or go to that grass. She'll like look over and she'll be like, oh, that's feces. And I'll be like, yes. And she just looks and she goes, can you believe some of these animals just coming out here and pooing? That'll be the day. And I'm like, no, but you have to too. Like, God damn it. All right. Well, anyway.
I won't do it and I won't respond to it.
That I swear to God, I've said that no less than 3 times when I'm like, hey, Lucy, come here. Hey, do you know what this is? And she's like, I don't understand the question and I won't respond. So she'll be endless entertainment to us. And yes, you'll see lots of photos. She's great. And yesterday she accompanied me for the very first UFC that she has gotten the opportunity to watch, and she loved it.
Well, first of many, and I'm not surprised at all. Congratulations, sir. To you.
Thank you, sir.
It's time for some shout-outs. Let's do this.
Yes.
I am super limited. I just changed jobs. I've now joined the NBC Universal family. Yeah. So shout out to the Comcast community for hiring me. That'll be a fun little change as we talk about a little real life and the you got to keep the lights on in the podcast. And what a great chance to be like, hey, gosh, Kevin, this isn't your full-time job. No, it isn't yet. Not until you tell a friend, 5-star review. We keep this momentum rolling. It's 2018. It's time for Rap Night to hit the live. Let's just get enough people listening. We can do live shows. That's perfect. We're not greedy. Just teacher salaries. 5 stars. Tell a friend. None of us want to fake it at a day job. Nobody wants to. That's just the last possible thing. And I don't have the journalistic skills Raph does. That's the other part of this. What a year 2018 is already shaping up to be. Got a chance to hang with the fam, but really excited to work with the crew over at Blue Corner. Big shout out to them and the Jabera Club that's giving me a lot of encouragement as I'm coming back. Round third towards my injury. Can't wait. To everyone that's tolerated my can't train depression. Raph, that'll do it for me.
Some announcements. I want to tell you guys the USSGL is postponing our date for February 18th. So I know some of you are looking forward to that. We will have a new date up for you very shortly, and we are very excited that we'll have other news to announce and all that good stuff. So if you're looking to compete, just hold on for a little while. We'll be back shortly. I also want to shout out, first of all, Valley Martial Arts Center. Where, Kev, I'm hearing a rumor. I'm hearing a big rumor that if you are looking to have a good class, you might want to take one from a guy that I know. A pretty cool guy. Has a podcast. Just got a puppy. So if you guys are looking to ever work with me, we're doing them on some select Saturdays, like twice a month, I think, right now. On usually Saturdays 1 p.m. If you're interested to go ahead and train up with me and work one of my drilling classes that I do for some of the guys over at the LA Jiu-Jitsu Club, some of the people who I help facilitate for some competition training, I'm more than happy to have you guys come through. Just hit me up.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
Really?
it's good stuff. I put the guys through a little bit of a ringer the other day, and I showed them something, and they're like, "That's what you do," and I was like, "Mm-hmm." And they were like, I was like, well, now you can do it too. So
Everyone can do it.
You can do it. Anyway, that's it. The LA Jiu-Jitsu Club back at training this week. Great stuff. We'll have some new entries from RAFGuard this week. RAFGuard.com if you guys want to hear more about my training. I've had to take a little bit of time off to do some writing, and I look forward to getting straight back to that very, very soon. I think, Kev, other than that, shout out to my beautiful little daughter.
Oh, so
Lucy.
Cute. God, she's cute. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight here at Lucy's Verbal Tap. I'm Kevin. Thanks for listening.
Good night and good fight.
Finally, a reason to visit LA.
Yay. Yeah. No.